There is a rumor flying around regarding Mordekaiser, and it goes a bit like this. Mordekaiser will lose his bonus ability power if he dies before his ability can land. It doesn't sound too far-fetched, and could very likely be true. We've had plenty of examples in TFT of units losing their critical strike chance or not applying Morellos if they died while their spell was still going. So I hopped on the PBE to take a closer look. The results were interesting, so I figured it's a good topic for a video. Let's go over everything one by one. First up, does Mordekaiser lose his ability to critically strike? This one is an easy test. All we need is a jeweled gauntlet and make sure he has 100% critical strike chance. In this example, I just ended up running Draven with his Ruthless Blades augment. We begin with a fight where he survives, and we can see he can critically strike for over 800 magic damage. Now let's look at a fight where he gets taken out while his ability is still finishing the animation. At first glance, it looks like everything is working as intended. His ability can still critically strike. For our second test, let's take a closer look at his ability power. Here we can see a Mordekaiser with 3 chalices next to him, which will boost his ability power to 175. And he ends up dealing 668 damage to enemies like Sivir or Jinx in the backline. If we repeat the fight, but this time Mordekaiser dies before his ability could land, the damage gets reduced to 381. So he definitely loses the AP from Chalice. But what about Archangel? If we take a look at this fight, he ends up dying with 1 Archangel stack. So he has a total of 40 bonus ability power. The enemy Sivir ends up taking 534 damage, which is in line with what we can expect from a 9% damage reduction. So it looks like the rumor ended up being true for some sources of ability power. But there is one more test we can do. For this one, we take a closer look at the Ace trait. If the trait is activated, Mordekaiser can finish off units in low HP range by dealing true damage. This is pretty easy to spot. In this example, you can see that he is still alive when he finishes ability, and you can see the true damage procs appearing everywhere. In the next fight, he dies while having 4 Ace on the board. Yet all of the true damage appears to be gone. So in the end, we did find something. Mordekaiser will lose his Ace trait if he dies before his ability can land. This is a pretty big deal if you're running 4 Ace, so it can make sense to protect him with an Edge of Night in that scenario. Where does this leave us? We learned that Critical Strike and items like Archangel or Morello work as intended, but traits like Ace can get disabled. Mordekaiser will benefit from AP he receives from augments like Battle Mage, but loses the AP that comes from start of combat sources like Chalice. It's not uncommon in TFT for units to become weaker once they die. A pretty good example for this is the Janna augment category 5. This augment changes her ability into true damage, but reverts back to magic damage the moment she's taken out. So I do recommend keeping an eye out for these types of interactions, because I wouldn't be surprised to see more of them in the future. I hope you learned something, and see you next time.